Hello, hello, hello. I am your beloved Review Man. And today I am reviewing a show that came out on Netflix just yesterday or whatever day that you're watching this. It is Lemony Snicket, A Series of Unfortunate Events. And this is based upon the books Lemony Snicket, A Series of Unfortunate Events. Let's see, they did Bad Beginnings, they did Reptile Room, they did the Wide Window, and they did Miserable Mill. And in the first episode, they Count Olaf, who's this really bad actor, and they're involved in this secret organization. And he knows their parents, he knows everybody that the Baudelairs are going to... Actually, let's go back a little bit. This story is about three orphans. Sonny Baudelaire, who is a baby. Klaus Baudelaire, who is a bookworm. And Violet Baudelaire. She's an inventor, and whenever she gets in one of her inventing moods, she wraps her hair up in a knot. And that's supposed to be symbolizing the gears moving in her mind. Sorry, I was going to do this last night whenever this show first came out and after I watched it. But things came up. So anyway, guys, on with the story. And they go to Count Olaf's house. Count Olaf, he wants to legally marry Violet, so that but make it look like a play, so that he can have control of their money. And I just want to say that the adults in this movie are the stupidest people that I've ever seen in any movie or TV show. Let's see, you got Mr. Poe, you got the banker, whose whose job it is to look. He's basically involved with making sure that the Baudelairs get to where they're supposed to be and with their guardians and all this stuff. But he's basically the paperwork aspect of it. And he's stupid. His wife, she works for the newspaper. She's stupid. You got the cops. You got and in each story, Count Olaf, he's played by Neil Patrick Harris. And Count Olaf, he's coming up with each disguise. He's coming up with like in the Bad Beginning, he was Count Olaf. In the Reptile Room, he was their uncle's partner. And the Wide Window, or something to do with the window, he was a fisherman named Captain Sham. And in the third one, in the Miserable Mill, he was this secretary to this doctor that was hypnotizing all these workers to making them think that working in the mill was fun, and the guy that owned the mill, he was just doing it for cheap free labor. So yeah, anyway, this is basically the first season of Lemony Snicket, A Series of Unfortunate Events, because what they did is they split the first book into 2 episodes, the second book into 2 episodes, the third book into 2 episodes, and the fourth book into 2 episodes. And and these are all done pretty well. Count Olaf's acting troupe involves 2 old ladies that are supposed to be twins. This guy with hook hands, this real tall dude, and this dude that just talks like really slow, but he's actually like the smartest one out of all the troupe. And so the first movie, he tries to take their fortune by legally marrying Violet, but making it look like a play. And the second one, he tries to kill he kills the uncle Montgomery by making him look like a snake bit him, and actually the snake that's supposed to bit him, the incredibly deadly viper, is like one of the least deadliest snakes in the world. And then the third one, making it look like their Aunt Josephine Ann Whistle. She's like she killed herself by making her write out this letter. But the thing that Olaf didn't know about Josephine is that she's the most she's like a grammar police or grammar Nazi or however. Because what she did is she wrote clues in her letter that's saying that was full of grammatical errors that those children caught on to, and saying that she's in this cave over here. And so he kills her by throwing her to a bunch of leeches, Lachrymose leeches, because that's the name of the lake that live on Lake Lachrymose. And the leeches will only come after you if you eat within an hour of swimming, because they can smell food within a mile away. And let's see, killed her that way. And in the fourth episode, they really did have no guardians, because they were working in the mill and they were trying to figure out what Count Olaf has to do with the mill. But what he has to do with the mill is he disguised himself as a secretary, which to this optometrist, and the optometrist was hypnotizing everybody with keywords, and everybody in the mill thinks that the Baudelaires burnt down the town and burnt down all that, but it was actually the what was it? It was actually the hypnotist making them think that the Baudelaires burned them down. But everything that in this has to do with the secret organization. Everything revolves around the Baudelaires and Count Olaf somehow in this. From the eyeglass that Montgomery, that's the name of their uncle from the reptile room. From the eyeglass that he uses to this coded code on screen, to statues, to secret organizations, to this eye that keeps appearing everywhere. There's a shape of this eye that keeps appearing everywhere. It appeared in the mill. It appeared in Dr. Montgomery's hedge maze. It appears on doors. Even Count Olaf has a tattoo with that eye. So anyway, yeah, about 8 minutes. So yeah, anyway, this was actually a pretty good show. Neil Patrick Harris played an extended Count Olaf. And in the end of it, the Baudelaires, at the end of the last episode, they go to this boarding school, and everything ends with and the guy that played David Puddy in Seinfeld plays Lemony Snicket, the narrator. And the show goes on and on and on, and Lemony and Count, it's like realizing that everything in this show is connected, and it's all going down to a few. Olaf doesn't like Lemony, and Lemony really doesn't count for Count Olaf. And so yeah, anyway, and the last scene that you see whenever they're at the boarding school is Lemony and Count. They were both students at that boarding school at one time. Yeah, and that's pretty much where the first 8 episodes took us. It took us from learning about the Baudelaires, running into Count Olaf, escaping Count Olaf, running into him again, escape. It's like a game of cat and mouse between them two. Yeah, so anyway, guys, that's my review of Lemony Snicket, a series of unfortunate events. I hope it wasn't too depressing for you, because it was actually a pretty good show. And if you got Netflix, go check it out. It's on there right now. It just started yesterday. Only 8 episodes for right now. But I have a feeling it's coming back for a second season. So yeah, anyway guys, I'll see y'all guys in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And have a good one.